So our next speaker is Karen Hollenbach. Are you there, Karen?
I am here. I'm just maybe here. I am. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
This is me. If we haven't met, hello. I'm Karen Hollenbach. I founded Think Bespoke in 2010, so I'm in the 8th year of my business. I originally established Think Bespoke as a resume writing and LinkedIn profile business, and I've really built my personal brand via LinkedIn. And I do really think LinkedIn is personal branding on steroids. And it's that concept of your name is your most treasured possession. So like Kate said, with sort of your name coming up in search, the way the algorithm on LinkedIn works and the fact that it's such a, not so much the algorithm actually, the fact that it's such a massive platform. If you type in your name, I'd be very interested to see, just incognito at the local library, type in your name on Google and see what comes up. And if your LinkedIn profile is doing a really good job for you, then your LinkedIn profile should come up first, and it's where you control the information about you online. So I just want to give you an idea of where I've come from. Some of you I might know, some of you I mightn't. You're recording this, so this is sort of probably important for people in the future. So originally started helping more individuals. We now help organisations as well, and we really just help people connect their online dots. So many of my conversations start with LinkedIn, and then we just look at your overall online assets, because you basically own your email list and your website. So that's why you should be taking all the insights that Kate shared with you today. You ultimately should be driving traffic back to your website at all times. So while platforms like LinkedIn and social media are great, you don't own them. And so you really should be thinking about how to drive traffic back. So that's kind of me, what Think Bespoke does. I think there are 4 ways to unlock LinkedIn for your business, and the first key one, and it sounds like you've done a bit of work on this, Rachel, today, is just clarity on goals and purpose. So I won't spend heaps of time on that, but I will say it sounds like some of the things people have been talking about already. It's just a consistent theme. So you shouldn't really be spending any time on anything in your business if you're not clear about sort of why you're there and why you're doing it. I'll then show you some sort of top line tips on how to brand you and your business. And I will say, this is not meant to be a sales pitch, but there was an opportunity to offer you a special sort of promo as part of today. So I do have an online course that dives deeper into that, and you do have a special offer on that at the end, which I'll share with you. Also this concept of professional networking. So Leah, your comment about doing reach out, I'll just talk to you about this idea of how LinkedIn etiquette and how I suggest you approach it, because I really feel like if you take a add value, give first approach on LinkedIn, it's going to serve you better in the sort of over the longer term. And then finally, this concept of content marketing, which hopefully you're all familiar with, but I'll touch on as well. So how does that sound as a plan, Rachel? Good. Okay, I've got the thumbs up. Excellent. All right. So depending on where you're at on your LinkedIn journey, I really believe that you can't sort of bite it all off in one piece. I also believe that as business owners, we're all a bit of a work in progress. So today is probably just helping you around understanding LinkedIn. And if you walk away from today and go, yeah, I actually think LinkedIn is a platform I need to spend more time on. And you might walk away from today saying, no, I don't really need to spend time on there. Instagram and Facebook is where it's at for me, or Snap, depending on who your clients are. Poor you, if they are on Snapchat. No, I'm only having fun with you, but I like that my clients are on LinkedIn. So we'll sort of do the understanding piece today. I will touch on a little bit of the branding, but do know the next step before you get really active on LinkedIn after today is just making sure that you're presenting the best version of you and your business on LinkedIn. After that, it's really that networking. So it's talking through that etiquette, understanding what you actually need to be doing on LinkedIn to get results. So I'm not saying don't reach out to people, Leah, but I am saying there's lots of other ways to do it, and it can serve your business and your goals better in the longer term. And thought leadership will also, that's sort of an opportunity to think about. So I'm probably going to spend more time. I'm going to sort of touch on each of them, but really do know there is a journey, and you can't bite LinkedIn off all at once, just like anything. All right, so I do find that a lot of people have what I call LinkedInitis, and that is, look, I know I probably should or maybe need to spend more time on LinkedIn, but I'm not sure what to do when I get there. So today is really going to help you potentially shift your mindset on LinkedIn and understand how it could be a more powerful tool for your business. But it's a really common thing. So if you're feeling that way, it's really, really normal. I see that a lot, and I feel like it's it's just not as sexy or as exciting a platform as Instagram, which is absolutely the first place I go to when I'm online. I'm not a big Facebooker, and I spend a little bit of time on Twitter, but LinkedIn is kind of, like your vitamins or your pelvic floor exercises. You know that you should take them, you know that you should do it, and it's really good for your business or for your health. And I'm going to explain to you why. So a bit of a sense of who's on LinkedIn. It's the second most popular platform used by the majority of large businesses. 41% of medium-sized businesses and 35% of small businesses. So you need to be thinking of LinkedIn beyond just clients. You should be thinking about its suppliers, collaborators, a source of information, a source of competitive information. There's just most of the big players and medium-sized players, are on LinkedIn and are posting regularly from their company page. So it's a huge source of information. It's where medium and big business plays in Australia. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be on there depending on the size of your business. It just means you need to understand, I guess, the rules of engagement. So let's start with the number one thing I think you need to do to unlock LinkedIn, which is this clarity on your goals and purpose. So before you spend any time on LinkedIn, and if you walk away from today embracing the idea that you need to brand yourself and your business more strongly on LinkedIn, the first question I want you to ask yourself is, what do you want to be known for? And then the second question I want you to ask yourself is, who are you trying to influence? And I don't ask these questions of you lightly, and I really want you to take the time to think about it. So when Rachel sort of talked about some of the themes that were coming out of today, who is your authentic self? What is your brand? And how are you showcasing that on LinkedIn in a way that's relevant for your ideal client? So Leah, for you, thinking about the people you might like to reach out to, the first question you've got to ask yourself is, if I look at my LinkedIn profile, is it talking to them? Is it representing my superpowers or my, what's unique about me and my business on my profile? So two key questions you need to ask yourself in the context of why you're on LinkedIn. And if you're trying to influence people in the, that are spending or not on LinkedIn or not spending time on LinkedIn, then I'd argue it's not the platform for you. And so the LinkedIn sort of user tends to be, have a slightly higher, probably 30 plus, tends to be higher educated, equal sort of slightly equal split between men and women, skew slightly to males, highest penetration of CEOs, the behaviours of highest penetration of CEOs to any other platform because they use it as their news. HR managers definitely on there, white collar professionals definitely on there, entrepreneurs increasingly on there and spending more time on there, and probably are a little bit louder and more active on there relative to professionals that are in maybe medium to large organisations. Some people still use it for the purpose of jobs, but it's becoming increasingly a source of news, industry trends, updates, and a content marketing platform. And that's absolutely LinkedIn's goal. That's exactly what they're trying to do, and they're trying to make the whole user experience a lot better. So have a think about, what do you want to be known for and who you're trying to influence. And if I use that myself as an example, when I'm on LinkedIn, I really want people to, and this is a term that someone else gave me, it's not one that I originally sort of called myself, but I guess I've adopted it. I'm sort of affectionately known as the LinkedIn lady. So I like that for two reasons. The first reason is it implies my LinkedIn specialty. And the second reason is it implies the way I navigate LinkedIn. So I'm very much about relationship building, building communities, adding value, being very helpful. That's my brand. And in terms of the clients that I want to serve on LinkedIn, it's really values-based individuals and organisations that want to make the world a better place. And I'm really clear about that because LinkedIn can attract some quite transactional behaviours. And I think you've all seen them. Some blokes even use it as Tinder. So there's a real opportunity to consider using LinkedIn to build a credible professional brand. So in terms of clarity of goals and purpose, you've really got to put some time into thinking about, who are you? And wow, it's a big question. I don't ask it lightly. And you really need to make sure you're showcasing the best version of you on LinkedIn and having what I call your big girl or your big boy pants on. So that's really around clarity of goals and purpose. And I've whizzed through that one, Rachel, in the interest of time. And also, I haven't got my phone here. So can you give me a countdown? Why don't I have my phone here? Can you just give me a countdown at the sort of 15, 10 and 5 minute mark, Rachel? If that's okay. I normally have my phone right here. I don't know what I've done with it. So the next one is really branding you and your business on LinkedIn. So when we talk about branding on LinkedIn, there's some key features And there's two main pieces of real estate. And the first one is your LinkedIn profile. And the second one is your LinkedIn company page. So if we want to use the analogy that we would use with Facebook, you know, it's your personal page as well as your business page. But I guess the difference is because LinkedIn is a platform for business, you really have a lot more permission via your LinkedIn profile to talk about business. So not necessarily sell your business, but to talk about, you know, sell your business or your products or your services. But the conversation is quite different to the conversation on Facebook. So Facebook is social. LinkedIn is a lot more about your area of specialty. So I'm just trying to draw that analogy, but do know that Facebook is an inherently social platform. I think it's been overridden by business. I'm not sure that's serving that platform well. But I think that LinkedIn is where you present your professional self, but I do make the distinction between a company page and your LinkedIn profile. So this is an example of Ralph Travato, who has branded his profile really well with the advice from me. He's my poster boy for LinkedIn and has had an incredibly successful journey on LinkedIn by following our insights and by really engaging in the way that I talked about, that circling strategy, really standing in the space of his expertise. And so there's some key things I want to point out to you about how we've branded Ralph's profile. The first one is the background image. Now you'll note this is the old view. This is actually the view that you'd see of Ralph from the phone. The new view from LinkedIn, his face would actually be to the left-hand side, which makes that background image even more prominent. So you need to be thinking about the background image. Is it consistent with your website and your other social banners? You can use it more as an advertising banner if you want to. Ralph and I have chosen to brand our LinkedIn background images in a way that's a little bit more subtle. So if you have a look at my LinkedIn profile, it's got a white brick wall and vines, which is consistent with the iconography and branding for Think Bespoke. For some of my clients, they like to have, you know, the company name up there, the website, what they do. You know, that's up to you, but ultimately there's real estate there behind your photo for free members that you should be branding or at least color coding consistently with your organizational brand. In terms of his picture, you might look at that and say, well, is he a businessman? Why is his picture like that? Ralph's clients are architects and designers. This is what Ralph looks like when he's at work. So he's lucky that his wife is actually a professional photographer. And they did a little photo shoot and made sure that they got Ralph looking his best. And he is the friendliest, loveliest relationship builder. And so this photo is completely consistent with Ralph's brand, what he wants to be known for and who he's trying to influence. And then I want to point out to you the headline. So your headline currently defaults to your current role. So it will say something like owner at, you know, CEO at, founder and director at your current role. You need to take control of this headline feature and make sure you're really quite clear about, you know, what you do and who you help. And Ralph's changed this recently as we moved across updating all of Lansky Construction's profiles, and we've actually included commercial and industrial construction, Lansky Constructions, which is the firm client relationship management. So I really want you, from a branding point of view, there's a lot more you can go into, but at the very least, I want you to look at how you brand your profile. So there's mine as an example.
15 minutes.
Right, thank you. There's mine as an example. That's really helpful. Your summary is also how to sort of tell your story. So it should be written in the first person. My summary is here, and then my experience section is here. So it's not really a resume. It's your opportunity to give people a sense of what you like to work with, what you stand for, you know, who you help, how you help. Have a read of my profile as an example, and you'll see that opening line is really, really important, because I tell people instantly, you know, I speak directly to my ideal client and give them a sense of who I am and what I do. And there's that example of the headline of how I've used it and that background image. And if you're thinking about how to get your logo onto your company, onto your sort of experience section of your profile, this is where you need to create a company page, which is that second piece of real estate. So when I update people's LinkedIn profiles, and I know I'm speaking quickly because I want to, you know, share all this information with you. I know I speak so fast, and I should slow down a bit, but I do want to cover off the 4 points. You can't just add your logo to your LinkedIn profile. You actually need to create a LinkedIn company page. So that's kind of 101 of branding on your profile. There's about sort of 6 to 10 key features that I like to take people through, but these are the key things to be thinking about. Top line. And then here's your company page. So there's a couple of things I recommend about the company page. At the very least, just create one, even if it's just you and your business. The reason I suggest you do that is you get your logo on your LinkedIn profile, which I think is really important. And if people click through, you can give a bit of a summary of your business, so you don't have to kind of waste heaps of time in your actual experience section explaining what you do. And then if you have people that work with you, they can also look at your team and just sort of evaluate you online effectively. And then they can click through. We've got something in chat, Rachel. Do you mind having a look? You can also, this is a free feature and it's available to all LinkedIn members. And if you look on my blog, which I'll point you to at the end, I explain how to do it. And it's also part of this, this online course that I've got available that I sort of step you through how to do it. So have we got a question in chat there, Rachel? Yeah, should I have a look?
You've just answered the question though. It was, do you need to have LinkedIn Premium to be able to create a company page?
Oh, good. No, and no, you don't. And so the thing is that there's so many things you can do on LinkedIn for free. There's so many free features available to you, and I'm all about showing you how to use those free features first. The main things you will get from paid LinkedIn account, especially if it's premium, you don't necessarily need Sales Navigator. I don't have it. I'm happy with Business Premium, is advanced searches. So for Leah, if you want to really be looking at, who you're trying to influence and get a hit list of target clients, you probably need to invest in Premium. And the other feature I really like about Premium is that you can see who's looking at your profile. We've got a third question. You can see who's looking at your profile. What's the etiquette around reaching out to the people that have viewed your profile? I'm so glad you asked, Glenn. So it's one of my favorite networking tools. So my etiquette, and this is what I recommend you do, is it puts you in the power seat. So if someone's actually looked at your LinkedIn profile, it's like they've walked up to you and said, hello. So I will reach out to them. I'll have a look at who they are. I will reach out to them, send them an invitation to connect and say, hi, Glenn. LinkedIn tells me you were recently looking at my profile. I thought I'd reach out and invite you to connect. So I'm very conversational. I'm just me on LinkedIn. So all the mess, I know it sounds obvious, but I don't get really formal. Sometimes people get really formal, or in that first step, they try to sell, which is just not the way to do it. So they've looked at your profile. They might not even realize about their profile anonymity or visibility settings. They're looking at you for a reason. Someone's mentioned your name. And in my world, about 3 out of 10 of the people that reach out to me have actually heard my name and want to do business with them, and I can convert through that sort of next conversation. Okay, so nothing cut and paste, just have a conversation. Yeah, absolutely, Glenn. So what I want you guys to imagine, and this is where the power of LinkedIn is unlocked for you, is that LinkedIn, the whole LinkedIn platform, I just want you to imagine it's a virtual room. So you're just going to a networking event or a professional development event, and your LinkedIn profile is you. So you would send a tailored invitation to connect, because you wouldn't just flick your business card at someone. If someone looks at your profile, it would just be like them walking up to you. You would reach out, invite them to connect and start a conversation. Because when we get to the content marketing step, you'll start to understand how the content you're posting, either from your profile or from your company page, is serving you, so that clients get a sense of who you are and what you do and the value that you can add to their business, without you sending these sequenced salesy messages, which I have to tell you, Leah, there's a lot of LinkedIn trainers that encourage people to do that, and it's just got a low hit rate. I work with a lot of clients at the CEO level, and they're so sick of people reaching out to them in that way on LinkedIn. It's much better to stay in your area of expertise, add value, share content that others are engaging with, and your brand will build probably a little bit more slowly, but definitely more powerfully, and you'll catch the bigger fish. That's been my experience for me and my clients anyway. So that's branding you and your business on LinkedIn. If you don't have a company page, I do want you to think about creating that. It's a free feature. And if you do my online course, I also give you 7 steps to develop a following to your company page, because people don't just follow pages because you've created it. So let's talk about, thank you, I'm loving this. So I've talked about what LinkedIn is. So I actually believe it's not social media, and it is a professional networking and content marketing platform. Professional networking first and foremost. Of course, it's job hunting, but we're in business. We're not here to get a job. You might be, so unless you're recruiting, I'm not going to talk about that element at all. So I want you to view LinkedIn like a virtual room. I want you to write your profile as you writing about you, the first person. I want you to use messaging. I just want you to always be thinking, when you're networking on LinkedIn, opportunities to start conversations, opportunities to start conversations. So Invitations to connect. Are you accepting them? People looking at your profile. Are you reaching out to them? If you post content and people are liking and commenting on it, are you having a conversation with them? If you've been to an event, have you reached out to the people that you saw at that event and invited them to connect? If you're going to a professional development event and you're going to go and watch guest speakers, are you reaching out to them on LinkedIn to say, I'm really looking forward to hear you speak? So these are the things you need to think about, because effectively you want to grow your network and stay top of mind within and beyond your connections. So when people think, oh, I need someone for LinkedIn, or I need someone from SEO, or I need someone for graphic design, whatever your business is, they're going to be thinking of you because you're staying top of mind. So you need to have a connection criteria. Too often I go into people's LinkedIn profiles and I see the 25 invitations to connect and they're like, oh no, I don't know those people. Well, my view is if you agree with the premise that LinkedIn is a virtual room, if someone walks up to you and says hello at a networking event, are you going to turn your back and not respond? No. So invitations to connect are the same. I don't care if people don't know you, they're reaching out to you for a reason. So my connection criteria is they need to transact in a country that I work with. They need to have a headshot photo. We need to have a couple of mutual connections. And they need to look real. And I know that sounds weird, but, you know, I've had sort of head of FBI in the US invite me to connect, and it was just someone trying to sort of skim my database, which you can protect yourself from too. And I've written a blog about that recently. So have a connection criteria. I'd encourage you to be open to invitations to connect, and then have a follow-up sequence after that. Hi, thank you for the recent invitation to connect. How can I help? So again, don't be salesy, and always make sure you sign off thanks, your name, and your website URL, because 57% plus users of LinkedIn are on their mobile phone. And so you want everything to be clickable, but even put your phone number there if you want it to be that accessible. So be active on LinkedIn. And what I mean by that is actually spend time on LinkedIn. You know, have the app on your phone, have the amount of time that you're spending on Facebook and spend it on LinkedIn. Or just, you know, 5 minutes a day, like pelvic floor exercises for women or shaving for men if you're not a hipster. Look at those profile views. So Glenn, you've already asked that really good question. Who's viewing my profile? That is an opportunity to start conversations. That is an opportunity to, you know, really, that's, to me, they're warm leads. And choose 3 topics. So if you're going to, you don't have to post. I'm going to talk about content marketing in a minute, but you should be following authoritative company pages in your area of expertise. They will come through your newsfeed, and you should be liking and commenting intelligently on that information. So that's at the very least what you should be doing on LinkedIn. And I'll talk about this sort of 4th point, which is content marketing. So I know I'm racing, guys, but I want to pack this with value for you. And you can always watch the recording again afterwards. Rachel's smiling. Yes, Karen, you speak so quickly. All right, content marketing. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of what it is and what it isn't. Google it, and you will hopefully have embraced this as a principle within your business. There's lots of ways. So it's based on an inbound strategy. So the idea is that you're providing value-adding content that people will engage with. It's consistent with what you want to be known for and who you're trying to influence. Content marketing will affect what you write on your website, whether you have a blog, whether you do a vlog, whether you do a podcast, you know, white papers, opt-in, email newsletters. That's all content marketing. So you just need to make sure those principles of content marketing apply to how you navigate LinkedIn. So you should be looking at profile views, which we've talked about. You should, if you have a website blog, at the very least be publishing and repurposing those as LinkedIn articles. You should have a content plan via your LinkedIn profile. So I'll probably post one of my blogs, you know, once a week or so, and just sort of put some commentary around it with hashtags. And my goal is to really start conversations on LinkedIn. You know, create a safe place. Did you talk about safety? You said you talked about safety, Rachel. So create a safe place on LinkedIn for people to get into the conversation with you. You can also look at a content plan via your company page. And, you know, content plans take a strategic content framework and should be developed well beyond the thinking of your content, of your LinkedIn page. It should be looking at all platforms, working out where your ideal clients play, and then slotting LinkedIn into that overall plan. And you should also look at this idea of connecting your channels. So if you're having lots of conversations with people over on Instagram or Twitter, every sort of 3 months or so, I just have a look at who those people are and make sure I'm connecting with them on LinkedIn. So just reach out and invite them to connect. you know, thank you for, you know, following us on Instagram. Thank you for following us on Facebook. And if I get a new email subscriber, you know, within the week or two, I'll look them up and I'll just reach out to them and say, thank you for signing up to our email newsletter. So it's just being human. It's just starting conversations. Like, automation is a wonderful tool for some parts of your business. Your LinkedIn profile is you, and it's professional networking. So I've skimmed through the content marketing. Rachel, how much time have I got? Beautiful. All right. So you've also, within your, sort of a little side thing, as you think about all this, and I know I've raced through a lot of content and it gives you a lot to think about because we're all in different phases of our LinkedIn journey, which is why I've covered off those 4 different points. If you're not looking at your dashboard, you should be. It's on your LinkedIn profile on the desktop view. Click through to search appearances and have a look at who's looking at you. You can also see the keywords that people are using to find you. So as you review and update your LinkedIn profile, you can really get some metrics on how effective your optimization of your profile is. I love this. This has been around for probably over 12 months now. It's a wonderful new addition to your LinkedIn experience. So you really want to get a sense of, you know, who, and you can only see sort of, if you've got a premium account, you can see who's looking at your profile. If you have a free account, you can only see the last 5 views, and your profile has to be listed as, your profile viewing has to be completely visible for you to see who's looking at you. This is some company page analytics. So if you've already created a company page or you're thinking about it, like any platform, take the time to go into your analytics and understand what that information is telling you. You know, information is power. You should be using all of the tools available to you via LinkedIn. That is it. That is a very fast 4 ways to unlock LinkedIn for your business. I've taken you through just understanding your goals, getting clear on your goals. I've taken you through branding. I've taken you through professional networking, and I've touched very, very lightly on content marketing. I run webinars all the time on this and spend kind of a big hour on each of these topics. This is the journey for LinkedIn as I see it, and just be really comfortable with the fact that you're a work in progress. And if you want to start at the beginning, that's really with branding your LinkedIn profile. So here's, Rachel sort of gave me the option to give you a special offer. So, you know, LinkedIn's all about getting more of the clients you deserve. And if you want to transform your LinkedIn presence, I've got this company LinkedIn profile and company page essentials online course. It dives, obviously I talk a lot slower during that. And I've got, you get instant access. It's self-paced learning. It's very easy to follow. It's an online course, 4 video modules. It's like this. It's kind of like the slides and me talking, and how people have used it is kind of had the slide on the left, LinkedIn Open on the right. It gives you VIP access to my private group on LinkedIn where you can ask all your questions forever, as long as I'm alive, I guess. Step-by-step instructions, a Word template, so you can actually write your LinkedIn profile offline and get sort of friends and colleagues to look at it. It also includes my 7-step company page follower guide, which I think is really important because it's one thing to create a company page. It's another thing to get followers. So if you want to have a look at that, there's the link. It's normally $379. You can save 10%. Use that promo code. I've put an expiry date on that, so you have to make a decision. Come on, school holidays are coming up for some people. You're going to have extra time. I'm joking. No, I'm joking. But you've got 12 months access. So any burning questions? So I've got one more slide.
I'm also sending that link out to everyone as well, so don't be madly trying to get it down right now.
Yeah, as Karen races through the slides. Jump on my website. So I have written a blog every week, well, pretty much every week for the last 5 years. Click on the start here and you'll see there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of information there. And I do say to people, if you read my blog, you'd never have to engage my services, but no one's got time to read every single blog. Jump on the shop. You can have a look at the different online resources that we have. And look, I know I've raced through this. My goal was to pack this with value. Please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn and invite me to connect. And if you've got any really specific questions, Glenn, Leah, you know, any others that are here today, please just reach out. So that's it from me. Gee, that 30 minutes flew.
I know, especially when you speak so fast.
I know. And I just, look, I can't, I just feel like I have to cover those 4 areas because everyone's in a different place. So forgive me, everyone, if I just went, oh my God, Karen, what just happened? That was woo. Thank you. That was honestly so awesome. Thank you, Leah, because I know I speak really fast and that's not great for slower paced people. So thank you for coming on the ride, everybody.
I think the thing that's really, I love LinkedIn. I reckon it's my favourite platform to actually play on. But the thing that's been really bugging me recently has been the people who link with you, and then you suddenly, you know, they're an SEO company or a website company from X country, and they're going to do all these great big deals for you. And there's not even a hello or anything. It's just a straight sales message. And yeah, I just immediately unlink with them.
Yeah, it's bad behavior, and I block and report. So if you drop me, I've removed my email from my LinkedIn profile, so even connections can't see it now. But there's some really bad behavior on LinkedIn, and I think there's some LinkedIn trainers out there training it. So, you know, in an environment where people are being transactional and salesy, there's a real opportunity for good manners and relationship building to stand out.
Absolutely, and I think it's a really professional platform to be part of as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And I just wanted to side note, thank you everyone for your comments. So especially Joanne's, you're making me rethink LinkedIn. Yes, my work here is done. And Leah said, I like fast, downloading LinkedIn on my phone now. Yes, daily rituals are all about having LinkedIn accessible. 5 minutes a day, pelvic floor exercises.
If you can put up with Instagram, you can deal with LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 of my favorite platforms. So goodbye, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm not joining.